Keep
What's
it
up?
in it. That's
Oh my
personality.
god, you ruined my intro. Welcome everyone. We have a new episode. I think this is episode number six.
6.
Six. That means there's two more after this. So I hope to finish before Christmas. With me, of course, as always, is Jamie, also known as Causally Explained. Nice to have you here,
How's it
Jamie.
going, guys? Yeah, thank you.
And I'm glad we managed to find some time again in our busy schedules.
I'm just, I'm just thinking. We've done 6 episodes, and you said if we go up to 8, like I think I've literally gotten worse since we started.
You started at 4.8. Right now you're at 4.9, Jimmy. Progress is
Okay, you're
slow.
right. I guess that's technically improvement. Yeah,
That is
technically.
technically improvement. Um,
Okay.
I would also like to say that none of this should reflect poorly on my ability to coach people.
Yeah, it's
As,
just my ability to absorb the information.
yes,
I think.
exactly. That's exactly
Yeah.
it. All right, let's head into Jamie. What do you have in store for me today?
So today I have 2 PVT replays. One of them is mech, one of them is bio, and it's basically the frustration I've had is, you know, the early game and mid game has been fine in the matchup for me for the most part,
Mm-hmm.
but I find late game is just super difficult. Like I feel like I'm in a really good spot economically. Like I'll even be in a situation where I'm like 160 supply to 140, but they'll just be kind of sitting on 3 bases, maybe 4 bases depending on the map, and I just feel like I can't attack because they either have siege tanks or their bio they just have ghosts and they're kind of set up really well with depots and buildings, and then they just basically max out, kind of walk across the map, and either just kill me and I can't even remax to fight them, or I just trade super poorly. And almost every PBT I have, in the late game, I'll have lost like 10,000 resources more than they have
Oh wow.
after a 25-minute game or something. So that's sort of the frustration I've been having. One of the I'll load up the replay. But oh yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, keep going. Yes, enjoying it. Give me
I was
also.
just gonna say I feel like one of the things that I've thought of that I know in some situations has been the wrong choice is I feel I should just if he moves out I can actually just swoop in and like kind of like base trade a little bit, which
Hmm.
is sort of not my usual instinct, and I think that's like when I've thought about it I'm like, ooh, that would definitely be a good idea. But I think one of the overarching things is like might just be my positioning and unit control, but I feel like I never have the right composition, and I'm trying to like make a mid game comp expecting that he's going to do a push, and then he just never does, and I end up maxing out on kind of like a shitty army. So I'm also very confused by what units to make. So I hope we'll see if those themes come up.
Right, that seems like a lot of things. Let's start by giving me the host, and then we can get.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
There we go.
Yeah, it is quite difficult because I understand what you mean. You're kind of playing around, either trying to deny a fourth and a fifth, and then they just sit on 3 base with tanks, and then eventually they just take
Mhm.
their base anyway, and there's not much you can do.
Yeah. So in this one too, like I end up a little bit behind from the opening, and I was like, oh, not a big deal. I'll just kind of write this game off as bad defense in the beginning. But then I actually feel like I kind of get back into the game and I'm in a good spot. And then the usual end game plays out the way I was describing.
Okay. What do you feel in the early game at the moment? Is there some something you've been
Well, this
playing?
game isn't. Uh, Not really. Honestly, my early game has been pretty solid. Like in almost every game I play, I sometimes like, oh, I think he's doing this, and then it turns out he is, and then I kind of lose some probes to it anyway
Mhm.
or something. So I feel like I could just work on positioning and stuff. But honestly, I feel quite good about my early game and my mid game, in the sense that I haven't run into stuff that I lose to, and I'm like, oh, I don't know what to do. I'm usually like, oh, I know what I did wrong. But it's supposed to be been fine.
Well, this guy's opening seems special for sure.
Oh yeah, in this game, yeah, I remember he was one basing, and I found it a little bit strange, but it kind of ends up being I lose some probes and I get a bit behind, and then it kind of normalizes into the mid game. Spoiler alert. Taking the fun out of the replay.
I like this opener a lot. It's good. It's very good even, I think. Did you copy this from one of my guides?
It might be the Colossus one. I'm
Yeah,
not sure.
yeah. It looks sick. Like actually proper. It sucks that you lost the pilot. If that hadn't happened, you just insta win the game here, I think.
Yeah. Well, what would your follow up be if I would have left that the immortal pops? I kill everything. What would I do after that?
Take
Just
a
go across
third
the map?
base. Take a third base, and the thing about going across the map in those scenarios is that it's possible that he built a liberator, you know? And then if you
Right.
move out with everything, you might not have enough money for a warp in or something like that, and You lose like 7-8 probes, then all of a sudden the game is pretty even all of a sudden. So I'm not a mess fan of it. I still think you're in a good spot. You should cancel your Immortal now though. After this kind of pressure is over, I would, in this case, I would send an Adept across the map. I'd probably scout with my Hallucination once it finishes. Send an Adept across the map and just chrono everything on probes. And I would have taken a third base immediately.
Okay.
There's no need to really wait with that. Usually you only want to get your Robo Bay after you've taken the gases as well.
Okay.
In every situation. So whether you're playing 2-base Robo or 3-base Robo, you really only want to get a Robo Bay after you've taken your gas. Otherwise you just don't have enough gas for everything. You'll see now that you can barely squeeze out a Colossus, but you can't even start dreaming yet about Twilight Council, or even Thermal Lens is pretty pricey at the moment. Like, you're lucky that you get supply blocked, because otherwise it would be even more obvious how hard you're lacking in gas.
It doesn't take luck for me to get supply blocked, man. It's
Get
baked
that
into
down
the
to a
build.
science.
Yeah, I do.
Pylon? Observer over here, if you take the space. Then you have solid vision around. This kind of stuff shouldn't happen in that case. So just try to be a little mindful of that. Every time you take a base, just think, hey, where's the, what are the areas where I can go? Colossus coming out a little late. Have you scouted yet with your Hallucination? Okay, you did that. Good. Yeah, that's not bad actually. So you see 3 racks. You probably know he has Stim done. Or at least it should be close to being done at this point. I wouldn't mind getting a... Oh, actually you already have a battery at the third base. Yeah, this honestly looks quite good. The only thing is that both your Forge and Twilight are really late. Which is really quite painful. You also have absolutely no map vision whatsoever. Which is kind of a product of your early game, right? Because you want to get the Immortals instead of the Observers. And then you went straight into Colossi. So it feels very awkward. But you still need map vision, whether it's with Observers or not. So Probe over here. Zealot or... actually... The initial thing I get rid of is always my Adept. You almost always have 2 from the early game. So I'd put 1 here, then I'd put 1 here. I'd have the Pylon here, I'd have a Pylon here. And then maybe 1 Observer here, or otherwise Pylon here and Probe here. Something like that. Okay. Then you have like a nice circle.
That's really good. What do you do with when there's like a Raven in the back of your base like this? Would you leave like a couple Stalkers or a different...
It's kind of tricky. That's why if you have these, you don't want him to ever get here.
Okay.
That really sucks.
That's a good point.
Because he's so close to both mineral lines. Imagine, let me remove some pings. Imagine if he's in this location, then the way to the mineral line of your main is really far away. So you can literally just leave a Stalker there, which is like up here, and then maybe your main army should be at your third, so that should be fine. But if he gets in the main base, then usually what I like to do is I'll get a unit and a battery, maybe something like that, or 2 units. It sucks though, because it's like you're gonna be losing a lot of supply for a 2 supply unit. Usually I kind of get fast Templar Archive, so I can just feedback him a couple of times. Every time he almost has energy, I use the feedback button.
Yeah, that's good.
On this map it's difficult because he can actually hide in the corner. I don't even think you can feedback him.
Yeah.
So try to prevent him from doing that. Vision though, Vision is important. Especially if you're playing late Blink. Like, you can't really respond to things how you could with Blink. So you always need to be in position, which means you need vision. Or you're just gambling. Which, I'm not necessarily opposed to gambling, but at least let it be intelligent gamblers,
Yeah, gotcha.
Like, and necessary. So you're seeing this is all good. Armor... blah blah blah. Looks all looks pretty standard, honestly, from here.
You see me get that Raven?
Oh, wait, with the hallucination. Is this why you want to show me the replay? Was this replay titled "I want to show this to Harstem"? 842.
This isn't not even my real tactics. Yeah, I was actually so happy. I was streaming this when this happened. And I was so excited. I was like, that's never worked for me ever, and this was the first time it happened. I was really happy about it.
I played some games with Clem in the past few days, and he never goes up ramps anymore on Eternal Empire.
Yeah?
Yeah, you with his Reaper. Like.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
man.
You killed it, man.
Traumatized.
Yeah, traumatized. He's a changed man because of it.
That's great.
This is good. You get blink. Like you really need to. If you see this army, so you see what like
Hmm.
2 tanks. Well, if you could see that far, you would see I guess 3 tanks. You can
Hmm.
probably be a bit more aggressive on the map because it's an army that needs to siege up in order to do something. So you can just poke forward a bit, and then with your prism you can go over here. You can kind of control ramps
Okay.
pretty easily. Like he doesn't have the most powerful army, and as long as a Terran doesn't have a high Viking count, usually the Colossus army is the king. So I wouldn't suggest attacking into this position, but I'd suggest at least
Hmm.
being on his side of the map. Whenever you're on the other side of the map, of course, it means you need vision of your sides. So Zealot, 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 Zealot. Something like that. Maybe
That's
a
good.
pylon up here.
Good. Hmm.
These are really things that should be a lot more natural to you. Just in general, always sending out Zealots or Adepts or Probes forward, just to get vision. Because
Okay.
you're really lacking in vision. I see this a lot with people who have no trouble getting vision as long as they get their early observers out. But if anything
Yeah.
happens to their early observer count, they never get vision again. I mean, these pylons are good,
That's me.
but this should be all around, you know? This kind of fight is pretty difficult. It gets a lot easier if you have vision of his army with the observer that died. But it would still be nice.
Nice.
Otherwise, you're just great, man. All right, let's continue.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, if you have this position and you don't have any vision, it's kind of key to have vision of this kind of stuff. Also, if you have vision and you know that he's just sitting over there, you could send like 5 or 6 zealots like this. You know, that'd be pretty.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be a
Yeah, that
pretty
was
cool
good.
move.
That was like one of the small things I was looking at when I was just watching the replay. I was like looking at his third base, and I was like, yeah, I could imagine you telling me like, oh, if you just had 3 or 4 zealots, just run it. That would be really good.
Yeah, and yeah, it's still true. It remains
Mhm.
true. I like the disruptor transition after 3 colossi. That's good. I like the second forge. That's very good.
Mhm.
This warp in is good. Did you know that it was coming, or was this just a lucky like you wanted the warp in?
Well, I thought that maybe I was like, oh, did he kill those rocks? Because I didn't see him with the Colossus, and I was like, oh Christ, he must be going through the rocks, and he already knocked him down. So I just assumed he was running out there.
You know what's a cool trick here that I've been using a lot is that
What?
I'll do a fake recall. So I'll just recall one stalker, and then he thinks he needs to pack up, and then you run straight into him.
That's super smart. I could also see it not working at my level, but yeah, no, that is actually really good. I like that.
You should try some. It's really fun when it works, and they feel like complete idiots. I guess you wouldn't have the recall for this though, but
Yeah, it's true.
those are just details, my friend. Those are just you kind of pulled the move right now. Like have a recall. This was good. Honestly, this was a good fight. If I were you,
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah,
and I have
that's
a
what I
trade
thought.
like this, I'd retake my third and take a fifth immediately. You just cleared so much army, and you have a lot of cash in the bank anyway, so might as well. And I would get a dark shrine if I were you as well. Oh, you have a dark shrine, and you get DT blink. Oh my god,
Meow.
you're so good. What the hell?
Yeah.
That's actually really nice. That's perfect, Jamie. You are.
Look at this.
And the.
Got the base.
Oh my god, you didn't. Is that why you didn't say anything? Because you knew you were gonna
Yeah,
make it perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, that's.
Give me that dopamine, Harstem.
Yeah. Give more of it. Okay, this is. I like this as well, but once again, you're moving out and you're completely blind. 2 drops could be heading here, 2 drops could be heading here, your rocks could be taken down, you have no clue whatsoever.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not gonna keep beating this dead horse, but for one more time couldn't hurt.
Yeah, for sure. So also I just want to point out, like, this exact moment is where I get into in a lot of PVTs. Like almost all my PVTs end up in this kind of spot where I'm actually ahead, I think. And my opponent's on like 3 bases, trying to take a 4th, and I just kind of get locked up where I'm like, I don't know what to do at this point. And they end up kind of turtling, making a big army, and I end up, just kind of losing.
Okay, so what we
So this
want to
is-
do is we have an army that consists of units that work well over a longer period of time. Right? Disruptors do well the longer the fight goes because they get to shoot more bullets. So what you want to do is you want to be on their side of the map. If you want to be on their side of the map, first of all you need vision, but also something you could do with the leftover money is you could spend it on extra cannons at outside bases and extra gateways. This will, just keep improving your infrastructure basically. You don't really need to tack out of this army too much, I think. I think this army is pretty okay. You can just get like 85, 86 workers. So you're outmining your opponent. And then you just go Disruptor, Stalker, 2-3 Colossus. And you prepare a DT squad as well. And just cannons basically everywhere, you know, just all around your bases. Making sure that you have a safe place to back off to. And whenever he engages into you, you just run away. You're never actually fighting with him. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You're just running and shooting balls at him, which means he's gonna be dodging all the way back to your base. If he chases you, your DTs go in and they kill one of his bases. If he doesn't chase you, then you just go back to him again and start shooting balls from a distance. And you're just gonna keep rotating again and again. That's gonna be pretty much your goal. So a lot of people make the mistakes where when they have a lot of disruptors, they're like, oh, I saw a pro game where disruptors want to fight. Let me try that as well. And then they just kind of attack into a position. A lot of the time, that isn't quite how you're supposed to use disruptors. They're a good zoning tool, and they're a good tool for basically keeping your entire army alive while you have a higher worker count. Then eventually you get so many gateways, and you just do runbys. Like, if you look at this map... Why can't I pause? Oh, there we go. It's going to be really hard for him to ever take a 5th base, because it's super far out. This is super far out as well, and there's lots of space for you to do big rotations where he just can't be, whether that is with tanks or with liberators. So that means that you're kind of containing him on 4 base, and even that is difficult for him to stop, right? As long as you're making decent rotations, you should be fine. You should use Guardian Shield here. And you probably would have been in an okay-ish spot if you had a Prism here as well. Yeah, even now the fight is fine, I guess. This was a good fight, honestly. Just warp in.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just thinking the same thing. Like, I remember watching the replay, I was like, oh man, if I had a Prism here, that would have made a pretty big difference.
Yeah,
for sure.
Your gate count is too low, though, eh? Yeah, you're adding them now, but like I said, this should be happening the moment you hit max and you start banking minerals, just cannons and gates. Like, nothing else really matters.
That's a really good tip.
Yeah, it's kind of important. Then you can just... Now it takes quite a while for you to remax, and it's scary for you to be on the map because of that, you know? Because you're not quite sure how big his army is, how big your army is. I don't even mind you being not too aggressive at this point because you're just afraid. So I can kind of sympathize with that. This is good. This is very good. I would take a 6th base as well at this point. Just keep expanding again and again and again. 95 workers is pushing it a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
Try to really stay below 90. There's some situation in which 95 is good, but I don't think you'd be able to recognize when those situations are. So I would just usually stay around 90, because then it might be good if he goes up to a high worker count as well, right? Then you kind of want to outdo him by 1. Like, you're just the ultimate one-upper is what you are when you play PvT.
Nice.
But in general, just try to stay below 90. You're gonna be fine majority of the time. This is... Oh, I thought it was a Zealot run by. You made me so happy. Oh no, Jamie. I was gonna give you so many compliments.
I gotta say, when I was playing the game, I think even during the stream, I was like, oh, I set up a Zealot run by? Nice. And I went and looked, and I was like, oh, it's just like gross.
Oh, it made me so sad. So happy and then so sad. This is exactly how you're supposed to do it, but you have too many Zealots. Whenever you have this many Zealots, like this army, like I said, is now an army which you want long fights in, and Zealots are not, you know, they're not here for the the long run. They're sprinters. Like, they go in, they die, and then they go to the Protoss Valhalla. So what you need is you just need to get rid of the Zealots. So instead of sending probes, you just pop, pop, pop the Zealots over there. They'll give a crap if you lose them. You'll probably kill like 5 workers or something like that. And then you get a way bigger stalker count. Like, this is absolutely perfect, man. Yeah, and now you just run back to a base. That's all you need to do. This is exactly how you're supposed to play. You're already doing it. What you could do instead of the Zealots is that you could just have like 9 DTs on this side of the map, you know? And then you just... I like the number 9 a lot with DTs, because you can really easily kill planetaries. And then you just... If it's an orbital, you walk in, and then if units come, you blink out. If it's a planetary, you blink in and you right-click it. You pray to God his army isn't there every single time. You just... Nothing else you do. Like, this type of fight, it feels nice until your balls run out, right? Which is why you have to anticipate that feeling already when the balls start running out. Like you just need to. You start throwing them and you just start running back to like a high ground or like a choke, whatever, so that your Colossus can hold some type of position. You also see that your Zealots are actually completely useless in this fight. Like,
Yeah, they definitely are.
yeah, they actually don't do anything. If they were in hold position and then they died to Liberators. I also think Immortals are usually quite useless because they can shoot up. Like Disruptors and Colossi deal with everything on the ground, and then the Stalkers just deal with Viking Lip, basically. That's it. And because you're never fighting in one spot for very long, yeah, you're basically... You don't really need Immortals. That's what I'm trying to say. So you need stuff with big range or stuff that can attack air. And then here you should have realized and recalled your Disruptors. Oh my... Jamie! What a play. You recalled
What
them.
I say.
Yeah, it was good. A little slow sometimes, but... You know, the things do get done. There should have been a Zealot here as well. There should have been a Zealot. Oh, there is a Zealot here. That's 50%. I can live with it. 6 base is way too late. I probably would be on 7 base at this... Well, the game would be over if I was playing, but... I would suggest taking 7 bases at this point already as well. Just always stay up at least 1 base of your opponent, preferably 2, because you're just out mining him. Make sure all your probes are mining properly, you know, these are not mining properly, so... These are not mining properly, so 2 extra bases is a decent rule. How many gates do you have? 9, yeah. You should have like 15.
Okay.
90 probes, man. You have 6k minerals. This is not bad though. If you're... Oh, okay, this also was nice. It just sucks that we had stuck there, but this was a good idea. I would have done it with Zealots, but I don't mind this. I thought that was good. This also is a good cleanup. Well done. I'm not too disappointed in this game so far, Jamie. How are you actually gonna lose this? You have so much money.
Yeah, I don't know.
You have +3. Oh, you forget +3 attack, which sucks. Ah, I guess you just die now.
Oh, did it? Oh.
Okay. Well, never mind. I understand how you lose. That sucks. Yeah, it's really just a matter of how you take the fights. You build too many Zealots. Like, Zealots are good. Pre-Ghost, basically, is usually when Zealots are good. Afterwards, they become a little less good. And Zealots don't have any synergy at all with Disruptors. So try to keep that in mind. Whenever you're building... It's like a good way to remind to do Zealot runbys as well. Whenever you see, oh, I'm building Disruptors, it's probably time to get rid of the Zealots, you know?
Okay.
So that's it's a cool little trick you can use. You know, it's a trigger.
Yeah, that's useful.
It's a neat psychological trick that I taught you just now.
Coach Kevin, a genius.
Truly a genius. Yeah, this is the game, right? Do we want to watch the rest?
Yeah, I think this is pretty much it.
I mean, you pretend to stay on for a bit.
I have so much money. Oh, that's right. Then you kill all the gateways, and I only had like 4 or 5. And then then I just lose from here. So cool. It's pretty much over.
Okay, let's go into the mech game. Any more questions, Jamie? Or was I very clear in my explanations?
No, you were very clear. As clear as you could be. That was excellent. Okay. So this one, can you make me host again, please? Sure.
There you go. How have you guys been doing, by the way, in the corona? We've been going back up.
Oh, really? Yeah. We've been not too bad. I mean, Canada's kind of getting a little bit, but where I am, it's just been, you know, I think for the past month, we even had only, for a while, we only had 1 case. And then they were just like in hospital. And then we got it back up to, I think, 5 to 8 because some people came over on the ferry. But I think I haven't checked it super recently, but I think we're still super low, at least on my island. So it's not too bad.
Yeah, our daily cases went up from 42 on July 10th to right now we're around 400, and it's not really slowing down. So it's been
How is that in your city or?
Yeah. Well, no, this is in the Netherlands, but my city is being hit the hardest. The advice has been given out to not visit my city unless you're there already, which I'm there already, so they can suck it. But
yeah, gotta stay.
Gotta stay.
How hot is it there? What's the weather like?
It's insane. I know, it's like 33.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like there's a lot of places in the States that spiked up when it got hot because I think it gets too hot and everyone just stays inside. I think that might even be part of the reason why it kind of recirculates a little bit. But all right, are you? Oh, okay, good.
Yeah. I was just looking at the weather for today. Absolutely ridiculous. 33 degrees. That's not normal, man.
It's real.
It's pretty hot indeed. All right. PvT, this is a mecha, right?
Yep.
In your experience, do you have more trouble with mech or with bionic?
Almost always mech, just because of the reasons I described. I find with mech, I find it no problem like getting ahead, getting bases and stuff like that. But that problem that I've described before, if they just max out and then just kill me, like that's way worse with mech.
Yeah, I can
So I
imagine.
find that I lose to a lot of very low ranked players who just turtle on 3 bases and do that. But you know, from the stuff you described, that would be definitely helpful. But I guess we'll see how this
Yeah,
one goes.
it's also of course a little different, like the way you open. Like this is why I don't really like rushing Robo Bay before third base too much. Did you get it before third base?
No, I don't think so.
I think you got it blind though. Okay, you didn't get it before third base. The problem here is that I don't know why your observer is so late, but it's very very late. It's supposed to kind of be there before you build a Robo Bay, because now if he's doing like a 1-1-1 type of push, like Colossus is kind of crap. Like if he was moving out, which he probably should have been, I think he would have just died honestly. Like you have absolutely nothing, which is an issue if he moves out. But he decided to stay home, so that was very nice of him.
Okay. If I just saw the third base and didn't realize that he might be pushing. If I were to see that he was doing like say a 1-1-1 or some kind of push, and I haven't got the Robo Bay, what would I do?
Just build more units first, but it depends a bit on the timing of the CC as well, right? So this is a pretty late CC. This one is usually you see faster third CCs. This one is pretty late. I'd be a bit worried if I were you. I'd probably get a battery over here, and I'd just continuously be warping in out of my gateways. I'm not even sure if I would be getting a Robo Bay or just go into Forged Twilight straight away. And then, as long as you don't see a third barracks, you don't really need a Robo Bay, right?
All right.
Like it's not really necessary.
Yeah, I just had no idea. So
Well, if you think about it like this, like if a second or third barracks, if they aren't building, like barracks takes a long time to build, like a bunch of seconds, and then the stim and combat also still need to be researched, you know. So basically, if there's no barracks started yet, there's no need really for you to start a Roboboy either yet.
okay. All right.
Because you just don't need Colossi that fast. So you can just kind of wait until you see extra barracks being added, and then from there on out you can just add Roboboy at any time, and you can spend the rest of the money on, I don't know, Immortal or Faster Forge, Faster Twilight, whatever you like, man. It's your party as well, Jamie.
Yeah, thanks.
Wait, I need to do this. Perfect. Such a good content creator. The camera was in the wrong spot, but it's too late now.
Yeah, not more. Your editor can do something with that.
My editor is good, but I think that's practically impossible. We have 2 Banshees. Okay. Are you scouting? You know it's Mac, right? At this point? Do you?
Yeah, I think so.
I think you've guessed it.
I don't remember how the game went. Well, I saw the tanks and the banshees, so I was like, I think I saw two factories. Let me say, did I?
Oh, you're gonna go for the kill move? 2 Colossus.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking of doing, because I was like, I usually just have so much trouble against this style. I was like, okay, this guy I'm gonna try to just attack him, and then I was just kind of late with everything, and I was like, it kind of changed my mind, I guess.
Yeah. That's a bit painful because now he's actually in a pretty okay spot. He has a planetary on the 3rd.
Yeah, that's what I saw, and then I went back. I was like, oh, he's a planetary? Okay, I guess I leave now.
Yeah, I think that was a good call to go back. Against mech, you can just double expand at this point. Just take 4th and 5th at the same time. If this, like, you have such powerful map control, add a Stargate. If you're playing against Hyperflight Rotor Banshee, get Stargate and Observer Speed, always. It's just too annoying otherwise. Terrans will tell you, just put Stalkers in good positions, but it's a trick. Like, that doesn't actually work. Just get a Stargate. Like, they're investing so much in that crap, and it's super triggering. Also, you'll need a Stargate eventually if you want to get into Tempest or Carriers or whatever it is you want to do, you know? So, it's not like it's wasted effort. You get 2nd Robo. Yeah, it's okay. Usually,
I killed some.
Sorry?
Killed some SCVs. Did you see that?
Yeah, sure. You killed a lot of SCVs, actually. 20. I'm proud of you. That actually was nice. Good job, Jamie. Then you lose the prism. Less nice, but still a good job. He actually had no anti-air whatsoever. He had a single cyclone. Nice.
Yeah.
If I were you, I would be getting an army of Chargelot, Archon, many Archons, and then a bunch of Immortals. But really go hard on the Archons as well. Archon count is really important against mech. Because they tank so much damage. And they don't get countered by any mech unit really. And they counter Hellbats pretty well. So it's really the ultimate unit. Then while you're maxing out, this is good. You have very many probes, which is fantastic against this. While you're maxing out and you're doing your things, you stay on the map like this, exactly like you're doing right now. I would not get disruptors against mech ever, unless they play Cyclone Hellion. If there's no Cyclone,
I actually got it because I think I saw a Thor, and I was like, oh, I just heard before that people get disruptors against Thors, and that was my only thought process because I really was pretty clueless here of what I should make.
You only get the reason why people say get disruptors versus Thors if you're playing air, then it's okay. Because then you don't have an A-move army like you have right now. Right now it's just better to get Chargelot, Archon, Immortal. You gotta think a bit more in how your army synergizes and how you want to fight and how every unit kind of fits in there. So like how last game I said, the Chargelots don't make much sense with a high Disruptor count. In this case, you want a high Immortal Archon count, which is an army that wants to go at once. The Disruptors don't make a lot of sense with that. You also have the Colossi in case you want to kite backwards against a Cyclone Hellion. So I think disruptors are actually never necessary if you still have 2 Colossus alive from the start. I like that you're getting the Stargate. Like this is actually pretty good. Even
because I gotta say, like, I was also confused here because I was like, all right, so when I was kind of sharking out on the map, like it was like 10 minutes 30 and he had no 4th base, and I was like, well, I guess I just sit here and deny a 4th, and then I feel like he just still hasn't attacked and he just moves over there and he sets up a 4th, and I was like, okay,
but
well, what am I doing now, you know?
Yeah, but just look at your resources. You should have 5 more Archons here. 5 more Archons and 12 more Zealots. And even if you have like the 2 Disruptors, that was another Archon, you have like 6 extra Archons here. Like you're absolutely gonna destroy him. Like Archon, Zealot, Immortal just poops on mech. It's not even funny, especially if it's not sieged. So your plan of denying the 4th base was good. It's just that your army sucked. Once again, you have no prism with your army either, which is also a mistake.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
That's pretty bad. I only have one rule, Jamie, and that's to always have a prism with my army. And then the second rule is to always have an observer with your army as well.
Oh, he was there.
Yeah, but that's just, I was just telling you my rules.
Oh, just the rules. So yeah, okay, good.
Okay, don't worry, man.
The
I
2
wasn't
commands.
criticizing you. Yeah, it's just the 2 commandments.
I'm very sensitive about my PvT. Everything feels like an attack.
Yeah, I think you didn't know about the Archons, did you? How good they were. You seem very,
I started making them, like at this point. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna go Archon Immortal, I think.
I like that. Archon Immortal Chargelot. You still have some disruptors, but that's fine.
So
I also don't even mind the blink on the DTs, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
They have some
like just for
some utility.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say that, like, against this army, I was like, how the hell he has so many tanks and so many Thors? I was like, I felt if I was maxed out on, like, would you actually just try to fight this with Chargelot, Immortal, Archon?
Yeah, the more Thors in the army, the more Immortals you put in. If it's just Hellbat tank, I usually stick to 1 or 2 Immortals and the rest is mass Archon Chargelot. And then the main thing is, of course, how you engage, right? Like, you want to engage from, like, angles and not all from the front. Like, the moment Chargelots are attacking tanks, the game ends. Like, there's nothing he can do anymore.
Right, okay.
The game actually just ends. This is good. Like, if you could set up a flank from here, and then the Stalkers are really, really bad for you. Like, you don't need anything that attacks air here, because you have Archons for that. Like, it's the beauty of this position that you're currently in. Like, I don't think you realize it, but you're threatening this base right now, which means he needs to leave a lot of supply over here, which leaves this part so vulnerable. And there's no way he can make that rotation from, let me remove these pings, from this part to here, as fast as you can from here to here, basically. So that's just going to be your goal. You're just looking for these areas where it's going to be really easy for you to go like, hey, I can rotate here, and I'm gonna basically put 35 supply of him. It's like offside. They're not playing in the game anymore. Congratulations. You played yourself.
Yep.
Like this should be like legit 9 or 10 Archons. And there's no way in hell you're losing this. Like actually no way in hell. There's absolutely destroy him. Same if you have a prism close by here and you just warp in like 20 zealots. How many gates do you have? 13. I think even with 13 zealots might be okay. But yeah, just Archons, man. Archons are so good. You know, we'll do like a little test afterwards in like the unit test map. I'll show you some unit comps.
Okay, that'd be good. What if he throws in, like, shouldn't he just be putting in like 4 or 5 ghosts right now? Like, wouldn't that just be good though?
It's pretty difficult for him to get to usually. Because he's gonna need ghosts on both sides as well here. So because his army is so bad at moving, he's gonna, in order for the ghosts to be useful, he's gonna need to split them up pretty, like, similarly, you know? I mean, if he gets like 9-10 ghosts, then yeah, you probably do need to transition to something else, and that something probably should be air at that point. And whether that's Tempest or Carrier, that is kind of irrelevant. This also honestly wasn't too bad a break. If you just have a prism here, you can probably do something. That's good disruptor hits.
Yeah.
Didn't get the finish though. Sucks. Are you just gonna continue building Immortal Charlotte? Okay. What do you think of this fight, Jamie?
Well, as I was doing it, I remember being like, "Oh, this is a bad fight," but I was like, oh, "Already charging the zealots in." I thought his army was smaller for some reason, but at any rate, I was also just kind of frustrated, and I was like, "Well, I had so much money that I thought, well, if I could maybe trade okay, and then just send in another wave of stuff in a second, it might be all right." But this was more just I was kind of frustrated, but I didn't think it was a good attack.
I think up until this point, it's actually okay-ish, you know? As long as you keep all your important units alive, you just go back, you just got rid of your zealots, you warp in like, what, 10 more Archons at this point? Like, you literally have the money for 10 more Archons. I would say get 6 more and then get like 8 extra zealots, and then flank from here. You're absolutely gonna destroy him every single time. Like, there's no way in hell he wins. His upgrades also suck, so... Well, he's only +2 on attack. That doesn't suck, it's just not brilliant. And the disruptors still are completely useless, like dead supply.
Yeah, they definitely are.
Yeah, they really haven't contributed anything in these fights whatsoever, which is painful. Yeah, once zealots get the tanks, usually they're quite good. Okay, now you get your Archons. Do you ever make an air transition here?
I didn't, because he gets so many Thors. I thought I had no idea if I was supposed to. Like when I was saying,
I think it's fine. I think just keep adding more and more Immortals. Like I said, the more Thors, the more Immortals, and you're just gonna keep going basically with your Immortal army, and you just want to be setting up your engagement in the perfect way. I like this as well. How does this make any sense though, as you're doing that?
Wait, what? Oh, the attack?
Yeah. Why would you fight him here?
I mean, my only thought process was I didn't want him to. I saw that he was unsieged, so I thought I'd attack. But I agree, it's pretty. My army's not so good.
Well, I mean, you just have like 20-30 supply over here. It feels a bit silly to then sacrifice a lot of the backbone of your army into his army, even if it's unsieged. And in this case, the disruptors might have been able to be of some utility, you know, longer fights.
Yeah.
So they're gonna be good. Just try to keep it in mind. Ooh,
yeah.
Yeah, what a tryhard. Should have flamed him for that.
Wait, I should have what?
You should have flamed him for the depots around. That's not normal.
Oh, I know. Yeah, that's what I was. I was like,
absolute tryhard. What is this?
Depot wall.
Come on, man. Get it together. You're just playing for fun. Like, what is this?
Yeah. I'm just trying to. I'm
just having a good time. I like the carrier switch. It was a bit of a, you know, bit of a wild play, but it could have worked out.
And the thing that I think sucks about the carriers is, like, unless you've been actively building the air attack for the past like 6 minutes, like they just do no damage to like Thors because they have, you know, so much armor. But...
Yeah. Right. Hey, this is what I meant. Like, this fight went really well, no? For
yeah, it was pretty good.
Because the moment you have Immortals fighting Thors, like, you just absolutely destroy him. Imagine what could have happened if this army was back here. Like, you would have completely owned it. And I think you would have been able to keep pushing on, or at least do something. I still think you're actually in a good position in this game. Like, very, very winnable. Even though you don't have that many bases, you have a lot of probes, so you can just retake bases. You have pretty good tech, you have very good production, and you have a crap ton of cash. And you still have this squad out as well. This should never be allowed to happen. I think this base should have been dead already. He hasn't defended it in a while. So the DT should have just blinked in. Even if it's not that useful, it's like an anchor point for him, you know? This base feels a lot more isolated all of a sudden if there's nothing here and nothing here. This is good. That's good. Good harass there. 6 immortals should be with your army. I wouldn't even mind getting a couple of batteries or something, you know, just to spend your dough.
Because I gotta say, at this moment, this is bad. But when I saw this army, I was just like, Jesus, how am I supposed to kill that with like anything? Like I feel I ran this stuff in and it just dies instantly. But I mean, it wasn't a great fight. But you still think just this situation, charge that Immortal Archon, good positioning would be no problem?
I think your army is fine here.
Okay.
But yeah, obviously you want more units, like more Archons, probably a couple more. But your army is actually fantastic in this case. There's a couple of issues. 12 plus, well, 2 more. 2 times 4, that's what, 20. So 20 supply over here. Then we have, well, I can't count, but that looks like 10 DTs to me. So another 20 supply. 3, 6, 46, 49, 51, 53, 57 supply isn't participating in the fight. Let's have your army.
So what you're saying is I need to bind the all army hotkey?
That's exactly what I'm saying. Just be a little mindful of it. It's the same what I said about the bio, right? Like, if you're fighting with Disruptor, Colossus, Stalker, you just want to be dodging a fight if you still have harass groups on the map, right? You're just going to be moving back, trying to do damage over time. In this case, what you probably want to be doing is either you want to clear out one of his bases. So, for example, this army that's over here could go here or something like that. And then these DTs could go over here or somewhere else. You could either base trade or you could just get everything back and just absolutely blast him in a fight. Because I do think you would have blasted him in a fight. If everything was at home, you have a really, really nice army. And if you have 2-3 Archons with this, I think you're absolutely going to destroy him. Not a bad game, Jamie. It's just some bad decisions.
Yeah. Well, I think it's, no, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, yeah. Yeah, I just get frustrated because I feel like almost every PvP I lose, it's the same as this game or the last game, where it's just like always trading poorly in the mid-late game, and every game I end up like 10,000 resources, lost worse. But I think a lot of the stuff you're saying is pretty helpful, especially in these situations.
Yeah, just
so that's good.
Try to be a little more patient, and it's not the end of the world to lose a base. Just remember that, especially if you have like 7 bases. It's not like you can save the probes and just try to get a better position. I think a lot of your fights are quite sloppy, and you seem very worried about losing economy, which it makes sense if, I know you in real life. I know how much you care about money.
Gotta pump up those YouTube video lengths. Gotta hit my 8 minutes.
Gotta hit your 8 minutes. So, you just in StarCraft, money isn't everything. That's the one thing it doesn't, It's not the same as in real life. So just keep that in mind, Jamie. All right.
Every time I lose a base, oh no, my house, my revenue property is being repossessed. My
so good. You have time to watch a quick replay? We won't go over it too long.
I'm ready for a replay.
Yeah. It's actually going to be pretty funny because I think I get absolutely blasted in this replay, but it's a good replay to show you how the build kind of works out, I guess.
Do I go to Europe?
Yeah, just go to Europe. Let's come to Europe. You want to play Icebaneling after, or you're gonna bike?
I think I'll play 1 round just to see what it is, but then I should go.
Cool. I'll get some of the boys together after. Join channel Jamie again. Oh, oops. Are you there?
I think so.
Did you misspell your own name?
Uh, maybe. It says join channel. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm part of Kevin's
yeah, Kevin's
flag
flag. I
and
see you. I see you. I see you. I see you.
okay,
All right.
yeah, okay.
Actually, I can just show you. What were you? Everdream? Yeah, Everdream. I think this is pretty decent as well. So we're just gonna go over the build that I think is really like it's similar to what you're playing. It's just better.
Nice.
And I have some small things which I think make it even better. So I think back in the guide I used to play Sentry and Adept Stalker. Now what I do is I get Adept, so I can rush out a faster robo and get a really fast observer on the other side of the map, which is actually insanely sick. Oh, he played some weird garbage. Oh no, wait, this ain't it. This ain't it. Okay, we scratched this part out.
Okay.
Sorry, it won't happen again, Jamie.
That's okay. I forgive you.
Okay, nice. Glad to hear that. Okay, quickly. Where are you gonna bike to? You know yet? Like, is it gonna be a big ride or it's gonna be a small leg?
No,
ride?
no, I haven't actually biked the past couple of weeks, so I'm gonna do like a pretty leisurely one. Maybe get like a good 25K in,
That's
and
what,
then
an hour?
yeah, probably an hour. Yeah,
Cool.
I mean like 15 minutes. You know, pretty fast.
Do the Jamie over here.
Tour the Jamie.
Madness. Do you watch the tour or no?
I've seen highlights and stuff, but I don't actually watch
Okay.
the actual race.
I used to watch it all the time when I was a kid. I'm not quite sure how I got into cycling as a competitive sport. Just watching it as well, not actually doing it. It makes absolutely no. It's I think it's actually the worst sport to watch because it takes 6 hours and nothing happens.
Yeah, I was gonna say I couldn't really imagine it being that great to watch, to be
No, it's
honest.
terrible. I watched it every
Yeah.
single day. Yeah, what a sport! And the French, they line up, yeah, like it's massive rows of people. Anyway.
Yeah, I can see that being kind of cool though. Like if it was coming through your town, you'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna go outside and see."
Yeah,
It's like
just
a
drink
big
beers with the
party
boys.
online. That'd be fun. Yeah.
Yeah. They usually they chase the tour as well, and they have their little camper and then they sit on a different mountain every day. I know.
That's cool.
Yeah, it sounds like a good life. This is what I'll do when I finish YouTube. But for now,
Yeah, that's a good like.
yeah, for now this will have to do.
Yeah, I have to do.
Okay, so you see how fast this robo is? That's insane. 2 minutes and 20 seconds. I think you got it at 2:47.
Yeah.
Second adept should actually be chrono boosted. I'm not sure why I didn't do that. That's a mistake. I pull out of gas, but you don't really need to because I put them in gas soon again. Now, the one thing you do want to do is there's two ways you can approach this. Either you get 2 gateways in order for your first warp in to have that extra round. This is nice against Hellion attacks mainly. Or you build one now and then the second gate a little bit later, so it's ready for the second warping round. In this case, I built 2 at the same time because I was feeling it.
Okay.
It delays your stalker a little bit, but shouldn't be that big of a deal. Then you chrono boost out your observer if you don't forget to start it, like I did in this game. And then with this opener, you get the Nexus before your warping. You see that? Pop.
Ooh, yeah.
Which is really cute, and you have adept stalker, so you have a crap ton of gas. Then if you saw Hellions, usually you want to get a warp in before you take your gases. If it's like a standard build and you don't think anything is proxied, you just take your gases, and then you can do a warp in after. You don't even need to, even if you have 3 gates, you don't need to warp in with all of them. Yeah, you can warp in with 2 or just 1. That's fine. That's all good, Jamie. And then it's important to make sure that you don't allow Hellions to drop into your main base and lose 9 workers to them. So if you know that's gonna happen, then this is not what you're supposed to respond with.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, but I mean the build is good. I just want to show you the initial build. And like I can even now, like it's kind of fine because my third is so fast. If you're playing against something that isn't Hellion, what I'll usually do is, so if it's a map where I can wall, so imagine I have a wall over here, I keep my stalker down and my 2 adepts on the other side of the map. If it's a map where you can't wall, I send 1 adept to the other side of the map, 1 stalker here, 1 adept on the low ground. Okay?
Yep.
That way you're pretty set up for everything. Try to not lose the adept on the other side of the map. It's not the biggest of deals, but it helps your observer stay alive because he can't look on the map with his marines, and it also just helps seeing when he moves out. If he's moving out with a tank, you get a battery, you get an immortal. If he doesn't move out with a tank, then don't get an immortal and just go straight into this. And the rest is actually pretty similar. Like, even though I lost 9 workers, I still have a faster Colossus than you did. And that's a brag.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Quite the pro gamer.
Quite the pro gamer.
Have you thought about playing this game professionally?
I have considered it. I have indeed considered it. I'm not sure if I'm ready yet. For now, I'll just stick to YouTube.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Now you're getting those premium ads.
Now I'm getting the premium ads. Now it's game over. So yeah, this is basically it. And then the rest, you can do whatever. You can play. Usually when I play against 3 base, I like fast triple before barracks 2 and 3. I like to go charge and armor. If I play against someone playing 3 racks, I like to go blink and +1 attack. Because with charge and armor, you can be more aggressive on the map, right? It's nice to break tank locations with. But against 3 racks, you want to be more defensive, and a faster blink makes more sense in that case. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
See how I do the vision?
The big vision. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Try to copy that as well. And when you lose vision, just try to figure out where he is. So in this case, I walk to the middle of the map. I think I'm gonna try to fight, and then I believe I lose the game here. So even the greatest of builds can lose games, Jay. Oh no, the game goes on. Well, who cares? All right, that's it. Any more questions?
No, I just find it funny for some reason, like in this game, where it's just kind of like, yeah, Jamie, man, like check out this build. It's like really sick. Like, oh look, my Colossus is already done. Like, not bragging or anything. Then I get the 3rd, then I get the 4th. Yeah, and then we made it to 10 minutes before I lost.
Nice. To be fair, the start was really bad. I lost 9 workers, Jamie. I'm just telling you, even though I lost 9 workers, look how hard I'm owning, or could have been owning. I mean, you know how good Clem is. You've played against him a couple of times.
Well, I gotta say, you lasted 45 seconds longer than I did, so that must mean something.
All right. Any more questions, or you think we're ready to bash some Terrans on the ladder?
I'm ready to bash some Terrans on the ladder, I think.
All right, that's all I needed here, man. Let's get it. All right.
Some Icebane.
All right. Time for some Icebane. All right, boys. Thanks, everyone, for watching this video. The Icebane sadly won't be here, but you can see that on my stream, which is in the description over there. Don't forget to subscribe as well, so I get more premium ads, which give more money, according to Jamie. See y'all next time. Bye-bye.
Smash that like button. Catch you later, guys.